Genius billionaire playboy philanthropist is back. Well, not quite Tony Stark. Kevin Feige announced during Comic-Con that the one and the only Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the MCU. He is going to star as Victor Von Doom in not just one Avengers movie, but two Avengers movies. Downey will star in Doomsday, which will introduce his character Victor Von Doom, and then he will also appear in Avengers Secret Wars. Now, also, the Russo brothers are coming back to direct both of these movies. Now, the brothers have directed a handful of MCU movies before, so it only makes sense that they bring them back. As we know, Robert Downey Jr. basically restarted the MCU. We know Blade was the first MCU character that actually starred in an MCU movie, but Robert Downey Jr. basically rebirthed the MCU, started in 2008. He went on to play his character Tony Stark in 10 movies, and these two movies will round him up to 12. Now, Robert Downey Jr. coming back to the MCU is a complete surprise and shock to MCU fans all across the world. After Tony Stark's death in Endgame, a lot of us were thinking, is Robert Downey Jr. ever going to come back to the MCU? And based off of the immediate headlines and the immediate interviews that he gave right after the release of Endgame, it kind of seemed like he was never going to return. Robert Downey Jr. said that he felt like he's done all that he could with that character, and Kevin Feige basically said that Tony Stark's ending was perfect. So it seemed like for a while that there would be no more Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU. But of course, in 2022, Robert Downey Jr. had an interview, and of course, someone asked him, would he be open to reprising his role as Tony Stark? He responded saying, and I quote, "There would have to be a super compelling argument and a series of events that made it obvious. But the other thing is, I want to do other stuff." And other stuff he did. He executive produced Perry Mason for 3 years, and he also is starring in The Sympathizer and is also the executive producer for that. And he starred in one of the biggest movies of 2023. Oppenheimer and Barbie are the movies that are credited as to saving Hollywood in 2023, especially when it came to box office movies. And he also won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in the movie. So he did do a lot of other stuff. Now, the super compelling argument is tricky. We all know that Jonathan Majors was basically supposed to take over the MCU with his character Kang, and he was supposed to be the next big bad MCU villain. Multiple Kang movies were in the works. Basically, the future of the MCU were riding on Jonathan Majors until he was found guilty of harassment and assault in December of last year. This resulted in him getting fired, and the MCU really had to do some thinking and rebranding and reshuffling as to what they were going to do next. They already had a string of movies and TV shows that the audience just weren't clicking with, especially compared to some of the earlier materials. So bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom was their lifeline to essentially save the MCU. So that was probably a super compelling argument that they brought up to Robert Downey Jr. when they approached him about this idea. He saved the MCU before with his first Iron Man movie, and he can save the MCU again with his Doomsday movies. Not saying that every MCU project after Endgame has been trash, but the common consensus within the MCU fan base is that a lot of the shows and movies that came out after Endgame just could not compare. So bringing back Robert Downey Jr. just might put the MCU back on the right track. As always, I want to know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for Robert Downey Jr. to be back? Do you think that he's making a mistake by coming back? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for some more Taylor Talks, and see ya.